Welcome to Drop the Puck. We're back here at Deeside Leisure Centre again for another Morley battle between Deeside Dragons and the Telford Tigers.
Yeah, certainly a fight that the Dragons weren't looking forward to, going off last time's scoreline. Telford, you know, right now they're looking to claw any points they can out of any game they can, because up the top of the Morley there, it's a tight battle.
Yeah, you've got three teams, ex-EPL teams as well. They dropped down last year. Caused a little bit of a controversy to start with, but it's quite clearly they're edging away from everybody. Telford sitting in third place on 50 points. They're 7 points adrift of the top team, but they've still got 2 games in hand, and hopefully they'll come here tonight looking for that win. Yeah,
you know, Telford, last time we saw them on Drop the Puck, proved how much of an unrelenting force they are. From the word go, from that initial puck drop, you know, it was just fire all cylinders, and the poor tendies in between the pipes there were under a barrage of rubber. To be fair, I think you're going to see something again similar tonight.
Well, of course, key players for Telford tonight to watch out for. Jason Silverthorne, ranked 4th in the league. Guy knows how to put a puck in the net.
He does. I'm just having a quick look at my figures there. Obviously, he's played 28 games for the Tigers this season so far, 38 goals to his name. So the guy is very dangerous given the opportunity to put the puck in the net. And he's currently ranked 4th in the player points rankings. Obviously, that top 10 dominated by Hull, Sheffield and Telford players. And unsurprisingly, in there's another Telford player, number 7th I think he is in the rankings, and that would be Richard Plant. But he's not in there for his goal scoring ability, he's in there for being a playmaker with the assists.
Now assists are a key part for any ice hockey team, and especially for the likes of Jason Silverthorne. But another player who we know well here at Deeside, he's another assist general. We know he can score, but he's helping that Tigers team out really well this year.
Yeah, of course. That's number 7 for the Tigers. That's Scott McKenzie. So McKenzie obviously been very fruitful on the puck for the Telford Tigers this season, you know, assisting that forward line. He's certainly going to be another one to keep your eye out on tonight.
Well, it looks to be exciting, this game. Either way, definitely one's going to be a winner. I think I know who it is, but without further ado, I think it's time to go down to the ice, and it's time to drop the puck.
As we get ready to get this game underway at the Den, Telford in black, Dragons in white. It's going to be Dragons win the face-off immediately. Wainwright gets that back and just dumps it up. Gary starting netminders tonight. Going to be Jonah Armstrong for the Tigers and Louis Edwards for the Dragons.
Of course, Jonah no stranger to the Den. Previously a Dragon, of course.
Silverthorne feeds that across, gets it back high slot. Edwards down early. And the Dragons' defensive unit going to be under a lot of pressure tonight as Weaver takes it in from the point, winds up. Oh, shoots early. Looking to go back, but Paul Davis of the Dragons, who wins back possession for the Dragons, feeds it round to Griffin. Griffin gets it round his man, able to find breakaway pass. Parry trying to put pressure on Goodson. Corey Goodson's going to use his defensive man there, go D to D. Tries to find Halford. The Dragons going to reel that back in. Using the boards. High pressure coming from former Dragons player Philip Super. Not a stranger to this ice.
Yeah, quite a few ex-Dragon faces, as we said in the start.
And Kennedy now takes that onside. Manages to get it across to Austin. Austin uses Richardson at the point. Richardson puts it in, looks for the deflection early. Ooh. And so far within this first minute and a half, good, balanced either way as Jones gets the puck, takes it onside. Looks to get it across. Kennedy does enough to disrupt the play. Straight in though is McKenzie. Puck's fed back.
Oh, save.
Kick out save there. And Edwards seeing a lot of puck early on, but doing his job. All goes towards that save average of his. Previously before the game, 76% save average. Not bad. And Silverthorne now going to take it onside. He's a danger you need to keep your eye on.
Oh, save.
Great save there. Edwards is going to need to keep performance like that up all night as Wynn breaks for the Dragons. Loses the puck on the boards. Dragons turn possession over. It's going to be now the Tigers as Telford Get the head up and look to break forward. Do so, winds up.
Oh, it's in.
And it's in for Silverthorne.
Well, we said at the start of the show, he's the main threat, and that guy knows where the net is. Slots in the first one for Telford tonight. It's now Dragons 0, Telford 1.
Face-off between Silverthorne and Williams to get our action back underway. Won by Williams. Wins straight over there. Grabs off for the Dragons. Chad Wynn ties up under the skates of the ref. Silverthorne comes over. Gains position back for Telford. Trying to push out up the ice, trying to find Tate. Near side at the point. And Jordan Griffin for the Dragons just going to keep that pressure up. Telford straight back into the Dragon zone. And Griffin does enough to take it from Silverthorne. Jordan Griffin takes it around 1-2, backhand,
Oh.
side netting. Great counter-attack. Now Chad Wynn over to help him. Tigers regain possession. I'm just going to slow the pace of this game down. Try and set up our players to get a line change in. 3:22 gone in this first period. Big stretch pass. Tries to find his man Halford at the blue line, but it's going to be Edwards who freezes it. Face off to the left of Edwards. Won immediately by Telford, who immediately started the rotation of the puck, trying to separate that defensive unit of the Dragons. Davis injects himself into that and disrupts the play. Manages to clear it out, finds Wainwright. Wainwright forced to go back. Dragons D to D, 3:51 gone in the first. Using the boards, taking that up, lay that on net. Armstrong keeping that post cover tight. Shaw for the Dragons, wearing the number 8 Morgan shirt. Telford take that straight back down the Dragons' throat. Will to go backhand.
Oh, it's in.
And it's crept in. Well, that's going to be a Macaulay Halford goal.
Yeah, the initial shot was saved and the rebound was quickly picked up, slotted into the top of the net, and it's extended the lead here for Telford Tigers tonight. It's now Dragons 0, Telford 2.
10 minutes 9 in the first period gone. Face-off won by Telford in neutral ice. Puck with Jones. Adam Jones of the Tigers. Under pressure from Parsons.
Oh.
Parsons possibly looking for the call there, but
Well,
Jones does enough. Knocks Parsons off the puck. Super into the corner down the other end. Tries to find Jones back at the point, but Parsons is back there to cut that out.
you know how it goes, Ben. You got to play to the whistle. No whistle, so you continue.
Halford, all the time in the world. Tries to skate that in. It's out right in
my
front.
goodness.
Edwards keeps it out. Shot back in. Plant's going to pick it up in the corner. Shaw straight over, as is Davis for the Dragons. Plant now just inside the blue. Gets the puck back. Tries to take his time and go round the netminder. Edwards spreads himself wide. And the game's getting a little feisty as the fans start to spark up here at the Den. Into the corner, Davis tying up on the boards. It's come out onto the Tigers. Tries to 5-hole Edwards.
my goodness.
Edwards denies him. And Davis, with Super, clears the puck round the boards. Richardson's there for the Dragons. Again, uses those boards. Finds Jones. Jones gets his head up. Backhand, lays it on for Shaw. Kennedy, it's onside. Halford turns that straight back round though. Skates it in. High slot, winds up.
Oh.
Another great save from Edwards. And right now, Lewis Edwards keeping the Dragons in this game.
Yeah, Telford are relentless with this pressure on the Dragons' net.
Halford drops that puck off for Silverthorne. Silverthorne chases that round the back of the Dragons' net. It's going to be Wainwright over there. Finds his man, lay-off pass. McKenzie.
Oh, and it's in the net. And Scott McKenzie gets on the score sheet here at the Den. Slots it, he picks it up straight in front of the goaltender and then slots it straight between his legs by the looks of it. And it puts the Telford Tigers 3-0 up here tonight. Dragons 0, Telford 3.
As we enter the final 15 seconds, I was saying, if you're Captain James Parsons of the Dragons, going in at the end of the first, 3-0 down to Telford, do you see that as a positive?
I certainly would have, and you've got to thank and praise Edwards for keeping them in this first period. But they're showing signs of promise, and I'm sure if they get a goal in the second period, it might G them up in the right way. But we'll have to find that out when we come back after this break, right here on Drop the Puck.
As we get ready to start this second period and drop the puck, it's going to be a Dragons win immediately. Griffin in possession, finds Wainwright. Dragons try and push that forward, but Silverthorne's got other ideas, turns it straight back around. Tries to find Plant in the middle, Griffin cuts the pass out. Tries to find Shaw in the breakaway. Weaver puts that in, Silverthorne round the back of the Dragons' net. Shot comes in, look for the deflection early on. Again, Holford ties up with Davis. And Silverthorne tries to come away with that. Parsons gets his stick in the way. Pass, tries to find his man in slot. Parsons gets on the loose puck.
Oh.
Weaver lays out, gets his stick there.
Would that be considered as putting your body on the line?
Holford, one-on-one.
Oh!
Tries to take around Edwards. Too much and loses the puck. And the Dragons early on can breathe a sigh of relief. Telford again banging on the door early in the second period. Not even, or just over a minute gone now. Silverthorne takes a shot, Edwards denies. In for the rebound.
And it's in.
And it's going to be a Mackenzie goal.
Yeah, he's sitting there at the post and just took the opportunity while everybody seemed to be standing around, slotted it up into the top of the corner, just past Lewis Edwards. And Telford take another goal here early in the second period. It's now Dragons 0, Telford 4.
Face off neutral ice after the officials blow the previous play dead. Goodson now. For Telford, using those boards, finds Silverthorne, and literally Silverthorne. We speak about ice generals, Gary. We mention, or immediately springs to mind the likes of Ollie Barron of the Widnes Wild, or, you know, while he was here, Scott McKenzie at the Dragons. And it's clear to see that Jason Silverthorne certainly cast from the same mould.
Yeah, he's a captain that leads by example, and certainly his performances of late have been a credit to Telford.
Tie up out in front, Edwards is there. Turns it out, and Davis tries to backhand that away clear. Silverthorne feeds the man for the one-timer. That was Watkins. Dragons, Parsons jumps on the loose puck. And unfortunately, due to a change on the bench, the Dragons are going to get called offside there.
Oh, silly mistake.
And a wasted opportunity for the Dragons. Face off neutral ice. Telford with the win. 5 minutes 4 gone in the second period. 4-0 to the Tigers as Rose charges that in at the corner.
Oh,
Tate's out in front on his skate. And the Dragons doing enough.
Tate must be kicking himself.
Tom Watkins takes a shot. Goes wide off the board. Parry's over on Jones. Austin uses the boards to feed Parry. Parry forced to turn back. Rook at the boards. Puck pops out. Here comes Kennedy. Foot down. Tries to go round his man. And it seems every time he's done that tonight, Gary, Telford have got his number.
Yeah, certainly they cut him out straight away.
Super. Feeds the pass. Great glove save there from Edwards.
And the fans appreciating that.
Face off to the right of Edwards. 5:45 gone in the second. Telford with the win.
Oh, it's straight in. Straight in from the face-off.
And it's in from a Weaver goal.
And just as I was about to say, I don't think Deeside have won one face-off as yet. And Telford slot that straight in, giving them a further lead of 5-0 here at the Den. It's Dragons 0, Telford 5.
Face-off, neutral ice, picked up, won by Telford again. Goodson takes his shot, it's off the leg pads of a Dragons defender. Plant takes back in, slot shot.
Oh.
Great save again from Edwards. Silverthorne feeds it on one-timer. Too many questions being asked of Edwards for the Dragons' liking.
And the thing about Telford is they're very quick picking up anything loose.
Out front.
Oh, like that, it's straight away.
Well, that's Jonathan Weaver again.
Yeah, Weaver was there to pick up that loose puck, slotted it past Edwards, and what can you say? Could this be the start of another landslide, Ben? It's now Dragons 0, Telford 6.
Face off to the left of Edwards in the Dragon zone. Oh, Williams wins that, but Telford immediately jump back on. Plant tries to feed his man, sat in the crease. And Wynn breaks forward for the Dragons. Telford immediately come across and regain possession of that puck. Off the skate there, Wynn jumps back on it for the Dragons. Chad Wynn fighting away. Keep this puck in possession for the Dragons, does so. Manages to feed Bennett. Bennett can't get there in time. Plant. Forced back at the halfway line there by Bennett. Now Plant again. Bennett trying to stay with him. Williams goes across. Richard Plant using that open man. Great poke check there from Richardson. Dragons clear the zone. Jonathan Weaver, multiple goal scorer tonight. Plant at the blue. Puck comes over. Back across, no one there. Bennett gets his head up quick enough. He's got man out in front with Wynn. Finds the open ice though. Uses the channel. Loses his edge on the board. And Griffin keeps that high up the pad for the Dragons. Oh, too many men over the blue there, and it's going to be another offside call. Face off in neutral ice, 9:17 gone in the second. Parsons holds his man up, allows Griffin to put that into the Telford zone. Shaw was in the foot race there. But Gary, you mentioned it in previous games. The skill gap, shall we say, between the likes of Telford, who obviously are one of these ex-Premier League sides we speak so highly about, and the Dragons, as Watkins is in one-on-one.
Oh! And as calm as you like, he drags it back across and sticks it to the opposite side of Lewis Edwards and extends the lead here at Den tonight. It's now Dragons 0, Telford 7.
Face-off gets us back underway after that Watkins goal. Immediately Telford in possession again. And Gary, as I was saying before that goal, the skill gap you can see with the tape-to-tape passing and the ice awareness and presence and the speed at which they break versus obviously the likes of the Dragons that have had a rough season previously in the morally and are finding it even harder again this season.
Yeah, well, we've said it was going to be difficult, and for teams like the Dragons who obviously have had a lineup.
Parry and Kennedy, shot in, Armstrong.
Oh.
Armstrong denies, and Parry couldn't follow through there.
Who decided have had obviously a lot of changes both on and off the ice. It's affected them greatly, I think, but the main thing is you can see that there's that little bit of difference in the ability of the players. That the likes of Telford and Hull and Sheffield are very quick to react to things. They pass into these open lanes. They know what to do. They know where the players are going to be. Whereas the Dragons and the other teams of that similar ilk have found it difficult. But the Dragons of all of the teams are the one team that have struggled to adapt to it.
As the Dragons now with Kennedy take the puck onside, 11:02 still in the second. Trying to push that puck over to Parry, the open man, but couldn't quite get it there. And Kennedy's tied up with a man there with Jones. Super finds Watkins. Watkins puts a puck opposite side of the ring. Finds Tate. Bennett puts the check on, but it's rode out.
Oh, right across the face of goal.
Goodson tries to go around the back of the net with his man. Kennedy now in possession for the Dragons. High forecheck pressure coming from Telford. Wainwright in with Kennedy. The official trying to get out the way. Telford come out with that super. Trying to bring it round. Wainwright plans, feeds. Man there, Goodson. Great save again from Edwards.
Ironically, Ben, continuing from what we were just saying then, 4 of the players on the Telford roster tonight are ex-Dragons.
And you can see the difference when they're put into another environment.
Oh, wind just glancing the top of that post there, and the keeper gets his hand to it.
As now Telford come again down to the Dragons' end. 12:30 gone in this second period so far. Out in front, Silverthorne.
Oh, it's in! And that's the difference between these players. You can see when he just casually stops, looks for that opportunity, and such a small gap between Lewis Edwards and that corner post, and he slots it calmly in there to give Telford their 8th goal tonight. It's now Dragons 0, Telford Tigers 8.
Face off in neutral ice. Picked up and won by the Dragons. Official unfortunately getting in the way. Telford capitalised on the mistake. Richardson skates back into the corner. Parsons tries to take it round his man. Silverthorne reads it. Turns the puck back into a Telford possession. And the Tigers ease the way into the Dragon zone. Plans, still plans.
Oh, it's saved.
We're trying to screen the netminder there with Silverthorne, but Edwards is going to see enough of that and save it. Face off to the left of Edwards. 13:04 in this second period, sorry. And Rose at the point. Feeds that puck in out in front, it's deflection. Second bite to the cherry and it's gone in. Well, scratch that one up for Philip Super.
Yeah, Philip Super, an old favourite here at the Den, former Dragon, calmly slots that loose puck out in front of net there to the top of the net. Makes it 9-0 here for them tonight. It's now Dragons 0, Tigers 9.
And Gary, we can see there that the Dragons have opted to go for the change of netminder. So as Edwards leaves the ice, Dominic Jolly now goes between the pipes for the Dragons. Face-off gets the action underway. 13:24 in the second period. Kennedy tries digging it off the boards. Super gets enough or gets over, tries to play the puck back in. Wainwright's going to be behind his own net. McKenzie playing the forecheck. Super misses the loose puck. Kennedy and Rose. And now Kennedy on Super as he try and dig that puck out. Tigers come away with it. Rose backhands it in the slot. Jolly just sees it, kicks it out. Parry for the Dragons. Has to slam on. Tigers back the other way with McKenzie. Takes it round his man. Oh! And he done enough. Looks like it's going to be an Adam Jones goal, though.
Well, it's hard to say. I thought it looked like McKenzie got that, but nevertheless, McKenzie calmly weaving his way through the defence, put some pressure on already difficult night here for D-side on that net, and it's now 10-0 to Telford Tigers.
Face off to the left of Jonah Armstrong. Deep in the Telford zone is won by the Tigers as they surge out. Break forward to Halford. Halford planting support. Shot comes in. He knocked once. Jolly denied. He knocks twice. And finds the net.
Yeah, it's a goal. Good play by Telford. Quick off that face-off. And straight away putting the Dragons under pressure. And they've extended their lead here tonight at the Den. It's now Dragons 0, Telford 11.
And Telford never going to give up. Face-off to the left of Jolly in the Dragon zone. 16:35 on this clock in the second period. Wynn tries to find Bennett. Again, immediately stolen back by Telford.
Yeah, the Tigers close them gaps down so quickly.
And a rare mistake by the Tigers there just allows Dragons to get a quick change in and push forward. Goodson now finds Watkins. Can't get that puck across. Bennett tries to get around Goodson. Puts a puck into the corner. Foot race between Wynn and Weaver. Weaver gets there first. 17-18 now gone in the second period. Watkins takes a shot. Jolly's in the way. And Telford again trying to get that rotation going. Loose puck jumped on by Bennett.
Oh!
Miscommunication, Super capitalises, passes that off.
Oh, well defended.
And now McKenzie winds up.
Oh, it's an easy goal.
Well, McKenzie with the initial shot.
Yeah, McKenzie tries to put that shot in, it's deflected away and sitting at the back post there. Backdoor shot, super. And he gets his second for the night. It's now Dragons 0, Telford 12.
Just every time they regain possession, first thing they do is push that puck straight back down the Dragons' throat. Constantly trying to keep the Dragons on the back foot.
Yeah, it's a difficult, certainly an uphill climb for the Dragons.
Plant puts it across, Richardson gets skating away. Again, they're literally queuing up in the top of that slot. Richardson now clears it away, only on Silverthorne's stick. Silverthorne tries to find a man up front.
Oh.
Dragons desperately clear it, find Shaw. Shaw can't reel it in. Telford back the other way. Super. Takes a shot. Jolly with a leg pad save for Richardson. Again. Tying up with Holford. And Goodson at the point. Shot here, looks for deflection.
Oh!
Puck off the official there. That's going to leave a bruise.
You'll feel that in the morning.
Backdoor.
No.
Super. No.
Does nobody want to hit that puck?
Tigers again banging on the door. Dragons desperately trying to clear it. They do so with Kennedy. Kennedy buys the Dragons some breathing space.
Oh, and straight away they're on him.
Yeah, Super with the heavy forecheck pressure. He's twisting and turning and trying to find a way out. And Davis now comes in to lend a hand. Puck
And without...
up and down, and there's the end of the period.
Without further ado, I think it's time the buzzer went. And called time on this second period where the Dragons have suffered near on 9 goals nearly in that period. It's a lot to deal with, but certainly they go in the locker rooms now to have a rethink.
As we get ready to get this third period underway here at the Den. And we'll wait for the puck drop. There it is. Telford immediately with the draw win. So for 2 periods, Telford have put an onslaught on that Dragons net.
I don't see them giving up either.
And here they come again. Starting the third period like they've played the 2 previous. Parsons finds Davis. Tries to go back in. Shut out by Weaver. Davis trying to keep it alive for the Dragons. Shaw rolling off his man. Telford there with Plant. Skate that forward. Over the halfway. Winds shot up. Runs wide. And Telford again, straight back on that loose puck. It's been certainly a key attribute of the game all night, Gary. Shot in from Jolly, to Jolly, and Jolly freezes that out. Face off to the right of Jolly. Won by Telford. I was saying, Gary, that Telford quickly jumping on every opportunity that's given to them, including the ones they're forcing the Dragons to give them.
Yeah, and it's the ironic thing is the forced ones, the silly little mistakes by the Dragons defence where they're not quick to pounce on those loose pucks and get rid of them, get them out of the way of the goal area. And Telford are very, very quick and talented enough to do something about them.
Richardson, fans on trying to keep it in. Watkins in the foot race with Jones. Jones uses the board to take that back round. Austin loses the puck out again. Adam Jones to Telford. Tries to go off the half boards. Austin's over. Pass lane shut out. Straight back in. Super and Williams tie up. Austin tries to clear it out from Watkins. Kennedy gets round his man. Takes it inside. Shoots and it's in! Ross Kennedy with the goal for the Dragons.
Well, we needed something like this to get this game a bit of life, a bit of breath back in the game for the Dragons. And I know it's a long haul, but 1 goal's a start. In this third period, the Dragons get their first, and it's now Dragons 1, Telford 12.
Face-off gets us back underway after that Ross Kennedy goal, and the Dragons with the face-off win. Miscommunication between the Dragons defenders, but immediately try and turn that back with Griffin. Telford now in possession with Weaver. Jonathan Weaver skated through Silverthorne, captain of the Tigers. Been a great ice general tonight for the Tigers. Out in front.
Oh,
Jolly's gone coast to coast, denied it.
he was trying to walk that in there.
And Griffin, key poke check, disrupts the flow the Tigers had going. Or, again, applying that pressure. Weaver. And literally Telford trying to skate it in, but there it is with Watkins.
Well, they've been doing it all night, and it's that close range stuff in the blue paint area in front of that net. And again, Watkins is there to tap one in. It's now Dragons 1, Telford 13.
Face off to the left of Jolly, 5:02 in this third gone. Dragons force that out. Goodson, chased down by Wynn. Bennett there, puts that back in for the Tigers. Straight onto the stick of the Tigers now. And all for the Dragons. Goes DZ. Weaver knocks it forward. Quick, one-touch passing.
That's confidence, that, Ben.
Shot in.
And there you go.
And Gary, you could almost compare it to like watching Barcelona on ice.
I wouldn't go as far as saying that, Ben, but it's quite an accolade to give them. But Telford here giving us a masterclass, and they've extended their lead tonight here at the Den. It's now Dragons 0, Telford 14.
Face-off won by Telford. As they try and push that forward again, Dragons applying the pressure in the form of Davis and Parsons. Working that puck round now inside the Dragon zone at Telford. Fans trying to rally the Dragons troops as we enter the halfway stage of this third period. 10 minutes now gone on the clock. Again, trying to crash the net there. Jolly sees enough to dive on that. He's going to freeze play. Face off to the left of Jolly. Again, won by the Tigers, who forced that puck straight behind the Dragons' net. Davis, though, for the Dragons. Finds a man out in front of his own bench.
Oh.
Shaw can't reel it in. Super's going to be there for the Tigers. Managed to find Weaver near side. Weaver skates that in, drops that back for Goodson. Goodson tries to find Super again. Plant feeding his teammate. And again, some good rotation from the Tigers. Weaver wide open there, gets a shot away, but it runs wide. And Davis, the check out in front of his own bench. Trying to skate in for the back door for Super. Dragons see it last minute and clear it out.
Yeah, Super wasn't quick enough there. He could have slotted that in easily.
Tied up again on the boards. Halford. Plant takes it in.
Oh, it's in.
And there's the goal.
Yeah, it manages to go in, flicks up past Jolly.
Scratch that up for Philip Super.
Yeah, Telford extend their lead here tonight at the Den. It's now Dragons 1, Telford 15.
Face off to the right of Jolly. 16:27 in the third. Power play opportunity for Telford. As Weaver picks that up. Parry. Skates it forward, takes a shot.
Whoa.
Just misses.
The opportunity was there as Armstrong was slightly to one side of his own net there.
Plant at the point, skates it through, has Halford in support. Weaver back at the blue, finds Weaver. Weaver skates it into middle. Plant winds a shot up, no, lays it off the pass. And again, Tigers trying to use that same tactic of flooding one side of the ice and then trying to find a quick release pass to the open man on the other. As Silverthorne gets it, gingerly puts it in looking for the deflection, but Dragons clear that away. 1 minute 10 remaining in this power play opportunity now for Telford.
Yeah, and Silverthorne will be looking for his hat-trick tonight, along with a couple of other players.
Telford again starting to build a bit of pace up, finds Super. Super gets Mackenzie into the corner. Mackenzie gets round his man, round the back of the Tigers' net. Finds Plant. Weaver takes the shot in, turned out by Jolly. Second bite of the cherry comes in again from Super. And Dragons again managed to clear it out. 38 seconds remain.
Good defensive play by the Dragons.
So far, the Dragons special team unit doing what it needs to. Telford go for a quick change. Super knocks the puck forward, gets it back.
Mackenzie calling for it at the back door.
Shot in and around. Wainwright keeps that pressure on Mackenzie. Tries to take it back in. Griffin gets his stick on it. Jones, shot in.
Oh!
And 5 seconds remain on the power play opportunity. There's a... Oh, Davis has certainly got into altercation there. He's gone. No, the referee's jumped straight over. So Davis went in on Armstrong. Parry's over there. Well, you can see Alex Parry certainly not happy with what's gone on. The initial altercation with Davis. Daniel Rose is there.
Well,
Davis, sportingly, skates over to the Telford bench to make sure that Armstrong's okay. He knows there's going to be a penalty assessed immediately. So Davis just skating over to the penalty box. And no sooner as that Dragons penalty kill ended, they're going to find themselves straight back on another one, Gary.
yeah, and there's very, very little time because that's a 2-minute penalty. That'll basically overrun because the game clock is currently showing 18:31 in this period. Oh, sorry, 18:34. And there's not going to be much time left.
Face off to the left of Jolly, deep in the Dragons' end. Telford back on that power play opportunity. Shot in.
Oh, it's gone in. And Silverthorne gets his hat-trick tonight, but he flips that puck over the top of Jolly, who still lay out on the ice. Probably disappointed with himself. And the Telford Tigers have got themselves that 16th goal here tonight. And it's Dragons 1, Telford Tigers 16.
As We enter the final 30 seconds now. Telford just chewing the clock up, looking for that pass lane, maybe trying to exploit one more goal like the Dragons. And there it is.
Oh my goodness. And it's Halford there, calmly to the left of Jolly, just slots it past and gives Telford another goal. It's now Dragons 1, Telford 17. Well, there you go, Ben. Typical result that we think that we've seen regular here on Drop the Puck, unfortunately, with Deeside. And at 16-1 against them. What can you do?
You know, Dragons have had a tough season. We've already said it multiple times on Drop the Puck. It was always going to be a development year for the Dragons. It was always going to be a write-off season in the form of, with the absorbed EPL teams, it threw contention for any teams wanting to break out of the normal running into total disarray. We knew they'd come in and dominate. And when you look at it, in all fairness, you've got the likes of Telford and Sheffield and Hull who have arrived having, you know, these big budgets and these big, you know, performance fees and, you know, the playing fees and stuff. And it's one of them. You're going against guys that started out doing this for fun, and then you know, so most of the guys have still got a 9-to-5 job. They're doing this for pure entertainment, and they're still having to pay to play the sport. I think it's going to be an interesting season next season for all British ice hockey, you know, but it's up to what they want to do with it, obviously. As for tonight, I think what the Dragons just need to do is go away, reflect on that first period performance, certainly pat Lewis Edward on the back, because that first period he kept them Dragons in it.
Well, without a doubt, and it was an outstanding performance by Edwards, and you can't deny, but that unrelentless pressure from Telford. Telford, exciting to watch. You can see the difference. But what a performance, and where does that put them in the standings now?
Well, obviously, you know, we said it in the intro. Telford, only 7 points off the chasing pack there up the front. It puts them in good stead, and they have 2 games in hand as well. So there's more points they can claw back. So do not write Telford out the title race yet.
And I differ with you there, Ben, because I think as much as Telford are good, and you know, there was 4 Dragons players in that squad as well, I actually think that Sheffield are going to be a team to contend with this year. Hull have been quite good, but Sheffield have been there and about at the top all the time.
Yeah, you know, the Steel Dogs certainly proving they've got what it takes there to run away with it. But, you know, I don't think you can count any of those top flight 4 teams out, including Solway.
Well, of course, there's other teams in this conference as well, and we'll be seeing more of them in the next episode of Drop the Puck. But we've got to look forward to the future of the Dragons. Hopefully they can get something out of this, like you say. And Telford, it's only good things for them for the rest of the season. Join us here next week on Drop the Puck, where you can see more action from the NIHL Moral League and Layla conferences. I've been Gary Lee.
I've been Ben Lee.
And this has been Drop the Puck.